where equality is just another euphemism for mediocrity, where participation is more highly valued than achievement, where just enough to get by is the new standard of excellence. There is a small minority of people who fight back against such apathy, who struggle daily to reach new heights. These brave few are the hope for the future, the bright shining light for the next generation. They are the ones who will lead us to the places we have never dreamed of, to the undiscovered country, to reach goals only a few can even begin to imagine. Unfortunately, none of those people could be here tonight, so kick back and relax. Prepare yourself for several hours of fun, friendship, fascinating conversation, and fabulous music. All those F's, that's an alliteration and kind of a radio trick. Speaking of radio, you're listening to the most popular radio station in the history of broadcast radio, at least among stations that originate from Chris's living room. It's Curious Times. Your host is a curious listener. Here she is, Chris.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Curious Times. It's Sunday night, January 15th, halfway through the first month of the year. Time is flying. And we're 1/24th through the year. And I do want to say quickly, 3 people birthdays today that I know. Deb Schiller, most of you guys know. Christy Sargent, some of you guys know from the old days. Christy Sargent, and Heather, who was Joyous Hart's sister. And all 3 of those are having their birthdays today. And so happy birthday. Probably 0 of them will be listening to the show or the archive, but I'm saying it to the universe anyway. And so Pamela, Vincent is here tonight, and just quickly going to let you know what else is coming up. Diana Monroe is here tomorrow. Lisa Nolan Shalosky is here on Tuesday. Wednesday, either a day off for Chris or just a crazy BS show. Or I might do, if I get to work on some EVPs, I might do some EVP reveals or something. Last night we did a little ad hoc session to get Linda Crystal. We came with some couple of interesting responses, to one of which was, what's it like to cross over? And the answer almost immediately was, it's amazing. And so there was a couple of pretty interesting possible EVPs responses. I always look to say, like, is that response, does it make sense to the question? You know what I mean? And so it made me raise my eyebrows when I got that one. And right near the end, my name, Kristen, again. There was a couple of other thoughts in it. Oh, I heard Crystal, clear, like I heard Crystal, which is her last name, Linda Crystal. So that was kind of interesting exercise. It was just done because poor Yvette forgot all about the show, and so we were kind of here anyway, and there was just a couple of us at first, and so I just go, wow, what are we gonna do? Maybe I'll hook this machine up and we'll do this, and so we did, and then we listened to it, and when we heard a few things, I go, well, maybe I'll hit record on this show, and we'll do a show, and then I can play the whole EVP. If you guys, now Sherry was here and Dan was here, but Renee, I don't think you were here, and Pamela wasn't here. If you guys want, it's 5 minutes. If you want, I'll play it for you. Just say the word. Grease is the word, is the word. Renee says, okay, Pamela's fine. So, I'll do that, and then we'll get Pamela on, and we're going to talk about, and maybe you guys will pick up a couple of new things that, I find that can happen sometimes too. I'm going to try not to interrupt it, but when I hear, I don't know this one as well, so I can't go, count it down and say but it's best if you have a headset. And I'm going to crank the volume to see if that helps you guys at all. So I'm going to do that now. And there's a squelch at the beginning. I apologize for that, but it is what it is. So let me see. So, here we go.
Okay, Linda Crystal, we're calling on you to talk to you, Linda Crystal. No, that's not going to work. Okay, Linda Crystal. Are you there? Say your name if you're there. Okay, Linda, do you know who I am? Linda, do you know who I am? Can you say my name? Hey, Linda.
Right there, that could be, but anyway.
Where do we know each other from, Linda? Can you tell us where we know each other from? Where do we know each other from? Okay, Linda, you had a shop, before you died, you had a shop. What kind of shop was it?
On to number 15.
Linda Crystal, what kind of shop did you have? Okay, Linda, we're wanting to know, where are you right now? Where are you? So the third time, where are you? She's like, I already...
See, I heard I'm right here, but it's not easy to hear these, so hang at the beginning.
Where are you?
I'm right here. Okay, hang on. I'll try to get just that. Right there. What I'm hearing is I'm right here. I'm right here. Anyway, maybe wishful thinking, but that's what I heard. Okay. And earlier on, I heard her say, I'm here, or here I am, or something.
So the third time, where are you? She's like, I already answered you twice. Yeah. So can you tell us what made you die? What did you die from, Linda?
I think I hear cancer like about 3 times in there, and like one of them was just like, oh, I missed it. Hang on.
What did you die from? What kind of work did you do, Linda, at the end on the radio? What kind of work were you doing on the radio?
heard missing, like, and she did deal with missing people.
What kind of work were you doing on the radio, Linda? Can you tell us, can you describe what it's like to cross over?
It's amazing. Did you hear that? Hey, that's pretty good.
Amazing. Did you say amazing? What's it like?
And I think I hear conscious right here.
Did you say amazing?
Like right there, in a weird voice. Conscious.
Amazing? What's it like to cross over?
Teamwork.
Okay, look, do you have anything? Okay, Linda, you were on my show and we were looking for a missing person. Can you say the name of the missing person or the husband's name?
On a roll, you know. Wheel can.
Say the name of the husband or the missing woman. Okay, Linda, I'm going to let you go right now. I'm going to try and do this with you again. You should know about this. You were into paranormal, so we'll try this another time. And I'd like to work with you. Are you willing to work with me in the future to do some EVPs? Sure. Okay, Linda, thank you very much, and rest in peace over there. Unless you're probably knowing you're busier than you were even here on Earth.
Right there, in a very whispery, listen for my name, Kristen, in a very light female voice. Almost a whisper. Can you hear that? I've heard only Kristen twice on any EVP. You hear a lot of Chris, but it's like a one syllable, which could be part of another, word or whatever. But when I hear Kristen, I pay attention. And so.
Thank you. Good night.
So there you go. Interesting though, right? I mean, it's interesting. It proves nothing, but it's interesting. And there's a few parts in there where I'm going to find some time to run through it really slowly and little bit by little bit, because there's a few areas there where there's like lots of stuff that's like little and it's fast. It's happening so fast. I got to slow that down and see if there's anything in there. I missed the part where I heard Crystal. I swear I heard the name Crystal in there though. I don't know if anyone picked that up earlier on, but it's there. And that was amazing to me, But when I ask, like, what's it like to cross over, it's amazing. Almost right away, right? It's not like a minute later. It's like almost right away. It's amazing. And so anyway, okay, let's get on with this. So Pamela is an empath. She has been since she was a child. Because of this sensitivity, she knew that she was supposed to help others. She's been led by spirit to read tarot and do energy work, and she picked up her first deck of tarot cards over 30 years ago. This event changed her life and started her gently on her spiritual journey. She started reading professionally around 15 years ago, and she's a master teacher of Usui and Rainbow Reiki, and she also teaches Reiki, chakras, meditation, Feng Shui. She does house blessings, clearings, weddings, and funerals. And you can contact Pamela at her Facebook business page, www.facebook.com/ this is a misspelling, but it is correct. G-U-D-I-E-D, by Spirit. G-U-D-I-E-D. It's not a typo on my information here. That is the link. And so there was obviously a typo in setting it up, but that's what it is. So G-U-D-I-E-D, by Spirit. And otherwise, just look up Pamela, P-A-M-A-L-A, Vincent, and you'll find the Facebook page that way. Just Google it, for crying out loud. What's wrong with you people? Okay, let's bring on Pamela now. Hi, Pamela. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I wanted to give out a shout out to my friend Lisa Ingalls, who's listening. It's her birthday. I wanted to wish her a happy birthday.
I know a Lisa Ingalls. I think not personal. Where do I know that name from? Lisa Ingalls. Huh? Is she a psychic?
No, she does energy work.
Yeah.
She's a wonderful healer.
Okay. Or there's someone else I know that's named Ingalls. But anyway, all right. So your Christmas and New Year's was okay, or?
Good. How about yours? As much as I celebrate, it was good.
Well, I really don't either. I wore a Santa hat, and basically we were here hanging out. I opened up the show for 10 hours each day, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and New Year's Eve, and just hung out, chilled out, and whoever came, and we had some fun. We had quite a bit of fun, actually. So for us, that kept us out of trouble, or got us into trouble.
It depends on how you look at it, yeah.
Yeah. So you said that you, I think you said you wanted to talk about the grieving process, death and dying, this kind of thing.
Yes.
Well, let's get to it then.
I decided to talk about this death and grieving, and what do you say to people who have lost someone? Because last week was a rough week for me. It was 9 years since my dad passed away, and I live back in his house, which is a blessing and a curse all at the same time, because it's a house I grew up in. But it was also a close friend of mine, her 21-year-old nephew OD'd on Monday. Tuesday would have been my son's ex-girlfriend's 30th birthday, and she committed suicide in October. Then Wednesday was my father's anniversary of his death. So there was a lot of grief going around, a lot of sorrow. I cried, and I was pulling it out of my son and other people who were grieving and going through the difficult time. And I'm like, nobody wants to talk about death. Whenever I bring it up, nobody wants to talk about it. And it's like, it's something you need to talk about.
Your friend just showed up, so she doesn't have her speaker on yet, but
and I went to the library and to pick up a book I had on hold, and Spirit told me there's another book over there for you, and I'm like, okay. So when Spirit tells me there's a library book on the shelf that I'm supposed to be getting, I don't look at the titles. I just use my hand to feel the energy of the book that I'm being pulled to see what book I'm supposed to have. I let them guide me. Well, the book is for children, more of how you can help children through death. And the title of the book is Death is Stupid.
Oh, yeah.
And death is stupid in the way we look at it and the way we handle it, especially when it comes to children. Because people will say, they're just asleep. Well, guess what? I go to sleep every night and wake up and get up and do something the next day. Why aren't they getting up and coming and doing stuff with us again?
Yeah.
My cousin, when his grandfather died, his son was, I think, 4 at the time, and he put in his little airplane in the coffin with his grandfather because they told him that he was taking an airplane to heaven. So, in a couple of weeks, he's like, well, where can I go get an airplane to heaven? So then they're freaking out thinking this little kid wants to commit suicide. I'm like, no, that's what you taught him. You take an airplane to go to heaven. Why can't I take an airplane and go visit?
Yeah.
So you need to have more realistic things to tell your kids. And honestly, if I had the money, I'd buy books that if everybody I know has kids, I would give them all this book, because it talks about, in the book, it has a young boy and his grandmother's passed away, and he always helped grandma take care of the garden. Well, after she died, he's like, went to his dad and said, grandma's flower garden has weeds in it. So they take care of the flower garden and they talk about grandma, and that's a way to honor her and remember her. And in the book, it goes into detail, how you can remember somebody, make a painting for them, or, use macaroni and put their name on something, whatever you want to do with your kid, for a pet or whoever you've lost. And it also goes into things, like I was saying, what not to say. And on a personal note, because I've lost many people in this lifetime, I'm sorry, I know how you feel. That'll piss me off in a heartbeat. You don't know how I feel.
Right.
Go ahead.
And this one's all over the map.
Yeah.
Right, Pamela?
Yeah.
And the thing I find, and I think that I'm glad we're talking about this, because in some ways, same people who are going through grief or whatever, they will also criticize the people that don't say anything to them.
Right.
And then, and so what happens is that when we hear things like, don't say this, don't say that, or else we hear somebody criticizing because somebody said this or that, then it makes some of us a little bit scared to not, just to say, I don't want to say anything that's going to make it worse.
Right.
And, I've looked a little bit into this as well, you know what I mean? Same with what to say to your friend, when they're dying of cancer or some other terminal illness, right? What to say and what to say. And so I think, go ahead, but I think that probably part of what you're going to say is that, if you share a good memory that you had of the person that's passed, if you knew them, then that's a helpful thing to do. But in some ways, sometimes, people do know how you feel. I mean, that it wasn't, but if they just lost their dad and you lost your dad, there's possibly a similarity there. And I think that what their intent, I'm a big person on intent. You know what I mean, Pamela?
Yeah.
And so
am I.
If I believe that somebody's intent was to say something that would comfort me or something, that they certainly weren't trying to be careless or anything like that, then they could say just about anything they wanted to me, I think, and I would be okay with it. But anyway, I will let you continue.
Well, on that note, the intent, I agree. However, being in that moment when you're so grief-stricken, it's hard to stay in that mindset. I like when people tell me or have told me, I'm sorry for your loss, because they mean it.
Yeah.
But everybody has different relationships with people. Some people are happy when their parents die. I mean, I was happy. Now, don't get me wrong. I was happy when my mother died. My mother was in severe pain from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I prayed for her pain to be taken away. After she died, I was guilty for years because I felt I prayed for her to die, which I just wanted her pain to go away. Whether she stayed or went was in God's hands.
Yeah.
And I finally talked to my aunt, and she was feeling the same way. I'm like, we need to talk about this more. People don't want to talk about it. And Spirit comes to me and tells me, it's the easiest transition. They tell me the majority of them, I'm not going to say all, but the majority of them, their last breath is here and their next breath is there. It's that simple and that easy. A few it's not, but the majority of them, that's how easy it is for them to cross over. The young man who OD'd last Monday, he was 21, and he came to me before my friend even told me, and I'm like, I don't know who you are, but okay. And he kept telling me, I didn't mean to, and so I knew I knew he was dead. I knew he didn't mean to, he mixed alcohol and Xanax. Not a good combination. Luckily, he went peacefully, but still, it was hard for the family and rough when you lose a child. That's one of the most difficult things to go through and hard to bounce back from. I deal with my cousin. My cousin, 9 years in August will be 9 years that her daughter passed away. She was 17 from cystic fibrosis. And people meaning well say, well, the doctors only gave you 5 years worth, or you got 17. Well, when your daughter just died, you don't want to hear that kind of thing. And she's still dealing with it, and she'll deal with it till the day she dies. Another friend of mine had posted something on Facebook, and she put a comment on it that she needed to hear that right now because it was a tribute to mothers, because she was, and Spirit had led me to post it. She just had a couple crying things in the last hour or so, remembering her mom, because her mom had passed away about a year or so ago. And I told her, my mom's been gone 17 years, and certain things will just trigger you, and you'll cry, and then you're okay. And sometimes they happen really close together, and then sometimes they'll be months apart, and then they'll happen again. You never know. Sometimes they're happy tears, sometimes they're sad tears, because life gets hard, and you want your mommy, or you want your daddy, or whoever was that comforter for you.
That's never happened to me. The funny thing is that, and another thing people almost never want to hear is, well, they're in a better place now. But I'm going to tell you something about me. That is that that's how I get through my grief. These days it's almost an instant thing for me. You know what I mean? And it's not callous, and I didn't care or anything else. Like, we, in a way, we're grieving for what we've lost. We're not really grieving for them. And now there is a difference. I had a friend that was, brutally murdered. And in knowing the details of how the murder happened, it was deeply disturbing to me for a long, it still is.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I closed my eyes, like I couldn't, all I could do was picture that, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And so then that's a kind of a death that's a really horrible, horrible death, you know what I mean? And I know that she forgave her attackers long before I ever will. And everything like that. But in North America, in general, I don't think that we have a good way, because of the fact that it's not really talked about. And it's really an uncomfortable kind of thing. And I'm told that when my grandmother died, they went and had special arrangements made with the city that they could bury, they had their land rezoned as a cemetery. So they could bury her right in the land that she lived in. And they when they were having the get together, I guess a wake of sorts, she was there with them, and lots of them were holding her through the evening, so much so that a cousin of mine said that her body was warm to the touch.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
And so there's and yet there's some people that wouldn't be able to cope with seeing a dead body, period. They loved the person or didn't even know the person. Yeah.
And some other people, I went with my friend, my best friend, she's, her uncle passed away unexpectedly, and I went with her. And when I go up there, and I always touch my hand on Uncle Dave, because I've known him, 20, 30 years or so, and going to miss you, Uncle Dave. And someone was up behind me, and they're like, you're not supposed to touch him. I'm like, I'm saying my goodbyes. This is how I do it. It's not like I'm trying to steal something off his body. I don't know what their issue was, but people are afraid to touch dead people. Every dead body grieves differently. And grief, like you said, really, I look at grief as missed opportunities that we think we should have had with that person. You know, when my daughter died, I grieved all the trips we planned we never got to do, and those types of things. That's what I grieved. Was she in a better place? Oh, yeah, she was in a lot of pain, just like my mom. So I missed that. Yeah. You know, I grieved the physical touch, the hugs, the interaction, the daily interaction. That's what I grieved. I mean, did that include missing them? Well, of course it did, but the more was my selfish part of it, that I want that hug. You know, I want one more hug. I want one more day. I want another road trip, you know. And people,
right, and my thing is that, like, I instantly go through this, oh, my God, I'm never going to be able to talk to them again. Oh, my God, I'm never going to be able to see them again. And there's that. And then not very long after this, and it doesn't mean I don't cry, but I'm like, I'm already reconciling that they're okay.
Oh, they're fine.
They're okay. And if they're okay, I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now it could be that because of a young age, I became very accustomed to losing. And I don't mean a lot of people died on me, you know what I mean? But I mean like losing people and having to go through that. And so, you know, I don't know if that helps me or what, but I kind of do okay.
I do a lot better. And as a child, my grandmother was one of like 18. So, you know, when I was hitting like 4 and 5, because they were up in their 70s, 80s by then, seemed like there was someone dying every week. I remember going over to her house when I was like 4 and went, so who died this week? My mom was horrified. My grandmother laughed. But I wanted to know because I was the little girl and the only kid there, so everyone thought, oh, she's so cute, and made all over me. So, of course, I wanted to go, you know, to the funeral home to see who died so I could have attention. Because I didn't understand truly at that time what was going on. I just knew I got attention. And that distracted them.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people won't take babies or kids or, you know, they need their own
Some
goodbye.
cultures, right, and I agree with you on this, like, you know, I suppose it has to be age appropriate or what, and I'm certainly not an authority on the development of young children, the emotional development of young children. But yeah, there's got to be a better way than some of the stories that adults make up to, you know, because it confuses the kid. And,
right.
And so, but North America in general, there's so many other cultures around that almost honor and celebrate death. It doesn't mean they're glad, but again, it's more about honoring the person's life and
you're celebrating their life, what they did with their life, how they meant to you. Because so my mom passed away, and we didn't have a funeral service for her. We just had a viewing. And people kept handing me money, and I'm thinking, okay. So all said and done, I had like $200. So my best friend and my cousin, which the three of us ran around together and hung out together, and got my cousin, who's 5 years younger than us, in trouble all the time. We went out drinking. We went out to honor my mom. And we had, Mom, this is for you, and got totally shit-faced. So bad that we walked to my cousin's house. Well, so bad that my mom stole the keys. From Spirit, she took the car keys, because my friend's like, you've drank too much, I need the car keys. Mama wouldn't want you driving. I'm like, I know. So she takes my car keys, takes out her cigarettes, put the car keys in the bottom of her cigarette case, puts her cigarettes back in, maybe had one cigarette after that, just like, you know, less than an hour later, we go out, car keys are gone.
Wow.
And we're like, Mom took them. She didn't want us driving. So we go to my cousin's. This is before cell phones. So we walk over to my cousin's house, and he drives these, bless his little heart, he drives these 3 drunk women home in various parts of the area. But we were, in some people, and I don't tell that to many people because people are like, well, how can you be happy she died? I'm celebrating her life. I'm honoring who she was to us. When we shared such wonderful stories, and we do every time we get together. Do you remember when we did this, or do you remember? Because we were in Campfire Girls and Scouts, and you name it, we did it together. You know, so we had wonderful stories.
Yeah.
And what I like, and my friend's cousin who passed away, the funeral home he was at, they have therapy dog there that they bring out to help people with this process, which is very nice.
Yeah.
Also, in the state of Ohio here, as of 2 years ago, if you had more than 5 acres of property, you could bury someone on your property, and you didn't have to have them embalmed.
Right.
Which my friend's very happy about that because she doesn't want to be embalmed. I'm like, you're not going to be there. Who cares?
Yeah.
But my dad, when he passed away, my daughter was with me, and she was a very gifted medium. And she's there cracking. I could feel Dad there, but I was still so distraught that I wasn't hearing him. And she's sitting there trying not to laugh her ass off. And the guy leaves and comes back, and she goes, your dad's sitting here and going, don't you pay that much. Just throw me over the hill and let the buzzards eat me. And that sounds like exactly what my dad would have said. Because, it's a lot of money. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
And every time someone passes away in our family, my son knows he's going to get a letter from me telling him what I want done or not done. And the bottom line now is I don't care what you do. Here's the life insurance policies. Do what you want.
Right.
You know? I would rather just be cremated and have a memorial service a couple months down the line. You're more able to process things a little bit better then. I'm like, but do what you want. I don't care. I'm not going to be here. Because both my parents just want to be cremated, no viewing. Well, guess what? They both had a viewing because that's what we needed. My son and I needed it. My son was 12 and I was 35 and my mom died. And we both needed to see her one last time.
Yeah.
And my dad went very unexpectedly, and I just needed to see him a little bit longer, which sounds selfish, but I just need that physical there for a little bit longer.
I mean, personally, I've never gone to a funeral even, and I'm not sure I ever will. Because I'm such an empath. I would be...
It's tough.
I would, because I'd be, like, even if I had my own emotions in check, I would be destroyed by the overwhelming accumulation of emotion in the room. And then all of a sudden I'd be the one that everyone would have to be like looking after, you know what I mean? And that's not right. You know, you don't want to ever be the center of attention at somebody else's funeral. And so I feel like that, you know, I mean, if for some people they want to go, they need to go, others, they're going for the family or they're going for whatever their reason is, you know. Me, I don't know if I ever will, you know, and I certainly don't want a funeral for myself. And, you know, I'm of the mindset, like you just finished saying a few minutes ago, like once I'm gone out of my body, I don't give a shit what happens to my body, you know?
Right. It's just a chunk of meat.
Yeah, somebody could come along and pee all over me. It wouldn't bother me in the least.
Yeah.
I'm not there. It's not me. You know, like it really wouldn't bother me. Like even the idea right now as I'm alive of that happening doesn't bother me at all. I'm not going to be there. Like I say to people, like, you know, they go, oh, I'm going to go to the cemetery to visit my grandma. I'm like, all you're doing is forcing your grandma to follow you to the cemetery.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, she's not hanging out at the cemetery, guys, you know. And now, if you're going to put fresh flowers or to, you know, groom the area around the headstone and all, that's one thing, you know what I mean? But you don't have to go nowhere to see, and certainly not the cemetery, you know, to see your dead dead loved one.
Because I was raised, I had to go to my grandmother and grandfather's grave and put flowers on and do all this stuff. And I always thought it was dumb because they're standing right over there looking at me, and I'm like, but they're right there. You know? Yeah. And my mom's like, no, they're down here. And I'm like, and they're just like putting their fingers up like, shh, because Mom didn't see them. Mom didn't.
Yeah.
She sensed them. Mom had gifts that she just totally ignored. So she didn't see them, and I'm thinking, this is a waste of time. Well, I could have been home playing, and they could have played, I could have seen them for a little bit, and they would have been like, okay, we're off. And so I didn't always get it.
That we're doing for ourselves in a way, right?
Right.
By going and putting fresh flowers, or by, making sure that everything's good, with the gravesite itself. And that's fine. Whatever makes the person
works.
feel better, that's fine by me. Now, the thing is this, right? And just like there is no magic thing to say that everyone will appreciate that's in the shoes of their grieving. There is no if I say this to you, it might offend somebody else,
That's right.
There is no prescribed time limit for grieving, but there does come a time when somebody has kept themselves so deeply in grief that they're stuck. And, when 10 years later, the person is still in the same shape that they were the day after, like there's something else going on here. And I always look at it to say, like, as I'm a living person right now, it would crush me to know that any one of my friends or anybody that cared about me, lost even one day of their life, worrying about grieving over me. You know what I mean? Never mind years. I think I always try to tell people, we'll honor those people that have crossed over much more by, being happy in our lives if we can, and being productive in our lives, than curling up in a ball for 3 years and doing nothing.
I've known quite a few older people who within 2 years have crossed after their spouse has, because they've just grieved themselves to death, where they've been married 50, 60 years and don't know a life without them anymore, and they just can't go on. Yeah. Which is sad.
It is sad.
But I agree with you. I agree with you that I don't want my friends to. I want have a good cry, miss me, have a drink to me. Don't sit and wallow in it, because I'll come back over and kick you in the ass and make you live life. Live your life for me. If you want to do something, go to a new place that I haven't been and say, this is for you, Pam. We came here to have an adventure with you. That would make me the happiest person around, because I'd be right there with them.
Yeah. No, and so now, and when we're talking to people who are grieving, we really have to use our own empathy, our own intuition, because again, that discussion is going to need to be different. Each person is unique unto themselves, and each person's situation is unique. And so in terms of how to help somebody, like, of course, in the early, immediate, days and weeks following the death of somebody very close to them, doing whatever you can to help them with their daily routine, or get them food, or taking care of appointments for them, or whatever, those kind of mundane tasks, that get their utilities paid, or whatever, like that kind of thing. But there comes a time when they're, we're not doing them a favor to leave them crumpled in a ball for too long.
Yeah. Yeah, if we coddle them too long, it's not beneficial for them. That's the way I look at it. But because the last 2 Thursdays I've been at a funeral, so it's very hard when you're an empath to go. But that's part of my job, I know, is to go, to shield myself, sit there and take their sorrow and give it to Mother Earth, and and pray. And bring in the light that they're shutting out because they're in such grief that they can't see the light anymore. And both of these were very large families. And I would just sat there and my friends, both my friends knew what I was doing. I was there to support them and their families. And they're like, thank you. And they're like, we could feel what you were doing. Thank you so much for helping everybody out. Awesome. And I'm like, you're welcome. That's my job. That's what I'm supposed to do. And in my mind, well, of course, I wouldn't be doing anything else but this. And they're very appreciative of it. And I always say thank you, but then I'm driving home going, well, why wouldn't I be doing that? That's what my job is. That's what I'm supposed to do. And then I realized, well, Pam, not everybody understands that. And you have to quit beating yourself up and accept the gratitude they're giving you for doing that. Because I'm getting gratitude from physical people, and I'm getting gratitude from spirit for listening and following my path and doing what they're telling me to do. Because I was hugging people the one Thursday. The only person I knew was my friend, it was her nephew. I didn't know anybody else's place. And I'm walking around giving hugs to people. I had no idea who they were. They were crying. I'm like, oh, I was like, you need a hug. And I give them a hug. And they tried to give me a polite little hug. And I'm like, nope, that's not going to work. I'm going to draw you in and give you a big old bear hug until the energy shifts. And then I'd walk away. And I don't know how many hugs I gave, but that's what I was supposed to be doing. And everyone was just kind of looked at me afterwards like you could just see the relief come over them, and it helped them. Even if it's just for a few moments, it helped them. And that's just what I was supposed to do.
So getting back to that book, like what's the best piece of advice that you found in that book about what to tell a child who's lost somebody?
Well, not to tell them that they're sleeping. Because you get up and wake up the next day and go to school. The little boy was like, well, but to do something to honor the person who's crossed, whether you sit down with your child, whether you weed a garden or you sit down with your child and draw a picture for them, for it be your pet, even if it's a pet goldfish. If the child feels a loss, you need to honor that and make something with them. And have a discussion with them about it. And not always say that it's a better place, even though as adults we know it is. Because like in the book, the little boy goes, well, I want to go to a better place.
Right.
And then, so you have to choose your words age appropriate, but you need to have a conversation. You need to have time together. And if you're doing a craft or something with your child, it's easier to talk sometimes. They'll let more out that way than if you're just trying to sit down and look at a 4-year-old in the face or a 6 or 8-year-old. If they're involved in a craft, they'll talk more. They'll let more out.
That makes sense.
That's the best advice I gave from the book. It's a beautiful little book. It's a collage book, and it's just I really liked it.
So they didn't say what to say. They just said what not to say.
Basically, because because they address that, everybody's beliefs are different, and you have to really know what your beliefs is and what you want to teach your child. So depending on your religion, your culture, what you're going to teach your kid. So, because it wasn't a religious book, so every culture's different. And it's
if you're religious and the child understands God or whatever, then
right.
I guess the easiest way is to say they went to go be with God or something like that. But yeah, so if you're not, I believe entirely in allowing children to. I would not push a religion on a child, personally.
I didn't with my son either.
Yeah. It's like, and let them, if they want to go to Sunday school, fine. Well, what one do you want to go to? You know what I mean? And
right.
Whatever. I don't have a problem with that. I like the idea of, because once a kid gets brainwashed into a religion, you know what I mean? And
oh, yes.
Like, how much psychics have I had and other, paranormal workers and mediums and everything like this, and almost like so many of their bios are, saying, oh, but my family, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? My family,
right.
so I didn't do nothing with my abilities for 30 years, because
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
because I got kicked out of church when I was 12.
Yeah.
The Nazarene church, they told my aunt not to bring me back because I asked too many questions.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do? Ask questions?
I know it's ridiculous.
Right. But
you were probably challenging, which is to say that doesn't make sense because, or something like this. And no, I totally get that. And
so I hated God till I couldn't even say the word God probably till about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So they kicked me out when I was 12, and I was like, I don't know, 30 in my mid-40s before I could say the word God. I could say universe, I could get a great spirit, but I couldn't say the word God.
I'm not even about like the God in the Bible.
Right.
I'm more about the Creator.
Right.
And I'm not even convinced. I said one time to my Cree elder, I thought that he was going to like tell me, look at me with disgust and tell me I'm crazy or something, and he didn't. But I said, like, I don't even know that God isn't like an alien. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me one of those, just a nod. And he didn't say anything, just a nod. And, that was very interesting to me because if he disagreed with me, he'd have said so.
Yeah.
And, so whatever the great mystery is, whatever that entity is, whatever, and it could be the accumulation of it all, it could
Right.
be Allah, God, it could be, whatever, it could be every one of them together. And it doesn't really matter. It's just the universe works for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, we're all, we're all a part of the source, or the source is a good one. We are to the source what a cup of water is to the ocean.
Right.
And so.
And my dogs, they referred to, when I'd say Great Spirit or something, they would kind of give me an odd look, and they referred to it as the Great White Mystery.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's a good one.
Why does it have to be white?
The white light.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
I know. but I've said that before because I used to read White Eagle books, and they talk about the White Brotherhood. Well, then I had someone read it, and they were like, "Well, that's racist." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Well, it talks about the White Brotherhood, the White Brotherhood of White Light, And they're like, "Oh, we thought it was talking about the Ku Klux Klan."
Right,
I'm like, seriously? Do you think I would ask you to tell you to read a book with the Klan in it? Come on.
I know.
Some people just, not as enlightened as I thought they were. Let's put it that way.
Indeed. So now, what advice do you give to adults that what can we say to people? We could say what to people who have lost somebody recently?
I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Is there anything I can do to help you? Is what I like. Right. And that's what I tell people when they ask, what can I say? Just tell them that you're sorry for their loss, even though they've heard it lots of times, and I'm available for you if you need me today, tomorrow, or 6 months from now. If they need to talk about it, listen to them. Because grieving doesn't have a timeline. In 2008, I lost 6 family members. And my cousin's daughter was one of them, and my father and my daughter. So it was a rough year. And we went to Riverside Hospital here in Columbus, Ohio. They had grief counseling. Free, and so we're going to go up there, and they're like, "So who are you grieving?" And I'm like, "I got 6 people," and they're like, "Oh my God." But my cousin, her boyfriend went with her. He thought it was going to be like a 12-step program, and then we would be fine. And we were like, "Oh no, that's not how it works." And their relationship only lasted like 5 more years. Well, I don't think it lasted that long afterwards. About 2.5 years after that, because he couldn't handle her grieving her daughter.
Right.
He was not supportive. But he's gone, which thank God, and she's now married to a wonderful man, and she's happy as she's ever been, and I'm very happy for her. She's actually gotten rid of some of her daughter's things, which was very hard for her to do.
And that, and that's what I was getting at. There is a caller there, so please be patient. We're gonna take a song break in a couple of minutes here, and then we'll take your call. But that's the whole thing about how much time, because it can destroy somebody else if like for, an excessive period of time, you are so incapable of participating in the relationship with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's hard for them to how long are you being supportive versus, ruining your, kind of having your own life taken away from you in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that becomes a more challenging, thing. I would hope that, at the end of the first year, you know what I mean? That somebody is at least out of that deepest part of their grief and functioning in some productive way and not, because then what happens is that other people, friends and other family, they start withdrawing because every time there's together is like the person is just crying and not letting up talking about the person and it affects other people too. And so that becomes a challenge, in terms of saying, like, how supportive is supportive and how long does that go on for? And so, I don't know how long I would hang in. I don't know until something like that were to happen, But let's take a song break and then we'll take a call and then we'll see where we're at. If we just have the one caller, we may wrap a little early tonight, and we'll just play it by ear and see what happens. So, so we'll play a song and then we'll be right back after that.
Okay.
All right, we're back, and we have Pamela Vincent here with us tonight, and we're going to take a call in a moment. I am going to do a shout-out quick here, though. Boo Boo's here, Dan, the man, Jen, hi Jen, how are you? Lisa Ingalls is here, and I don't know why I think I know you from somewhere, Lisa Ingalls, but your name sounds really familiar to me. And so, welcome to the show. I know you're a friend of Pamela's, and thank you for coming. Maria's here. Wildflower Wind is Sandy, who might be the caller. I'm not sure, but we're going to find out in a quick second here. Also, let you guys know tomorrow night Diana Monroe is here, and same bat time, same bat station. So let's get Pamela back on. Hey, Pam.
Hello.
And,
Hello.
hello. And Sherry's left. Sherry has left the building. And so you ready to take a call?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to go find out if it's Sandy or who it is. Who's the caller? Is it Sandy?
It's Dion.
Oh, hey, Dion. Where the heck have you been?
How are you? Happy New Year.
Yeah. So how's it going?
I know I've been out of the loop, but you know what? I want to tell you something that's so strange, of course. I'm like, I've got to get a hold of Curious Times. I'm like, I've been out of the loop, but, I want to call in the show. And so I go, I'm going to make it a point to get on Facebook tonight and get on the show. And you go ahead and are playing your audio tape with Linda Crystal.
Oh, yeah.
So Linda Crystal and I were pen pals because I started listening to her show, I want to say it was either like 2013 or 2014. I'd have to look at the exact dates. But we actually, we became pen pals, and we went right back and forth to each other on the email, and I didn't hear from her, and I wasn't on Facebook because I'm not really on Facebook anymore. But anyway, so I did find out that she passed away, and on New Year's Day, I was talking to her, and I was like, Linda, I'm like, I really miss you. I just want to wish you a Happy New Year. And I kid you not, about 2 hours went by, and I get a text message from a number I don't recognize. Happy New Year. God, I don't know this number. So I go home and I Google the number. It was from Buffalo, New York.
Wow, eh?
I go, Linda, you heard me. I don't know anybody who lives in Buffalo, New York.
That's awesome. What a great story that is. That's great.
That is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. And you know,
I love it
she
when
never
that
gave out her number. She never gave out her number.
Well,
I don't know.
I might have her number. I could compare. If you still have the number, I might be able to tell you if that was the number.
It was a 765 area code. I didn't save the number because I don't know why I didn't save the number. I didn't want to call it back. I mean, I've gotten a text message from a dead person before, but it was a picture. And that was the first time I ever got a text message from someone that passed away. Anytime she ever called me, the number just came up like unknown, you know? Yeah. And then we would just mostly email back and forth to each other. But I thought to myself, oh my God. I said, and then I go, you go, there's a wireless caller. And I'm like, Chris, I want to tell you about Linda Crystal. And you go, what? You said, oh, caller, just be patient. We'll get you in a minute. I'm like, wow. These messages are just going real quick back and forth in the universe. So she probably prompted me because I'm like, I've been procrastinating because I had a boyfriend for a minute, and so I kind of just dropped off the face of the earth. And I am on Facebook, but under a different name, because you know how many lawsuits I had with my name? So I had to get off of Facebook, you know, but I went back on tonight to get your show, and when I heard that, I'm like, oh my God, I was floored.
Perfect timing.
Total. How you been?
Oh, not bad. That's good. I was just trying. Oh, my computer's being. But in the meanwhile, if you're going to get a reading from Pamela, then I'll try and see if I can find that number.
I mean, sure. Why not? Hi, Pamela.
Yeah. Hi. How you doing? What's your name again?
I'm good. My name's Dion.
Dion.
I'm from Chicago.
I couldn't tell.
No?
No, but isn't it great when you get a message from someone who's crossed over or a text? Or I have to tell this story about 5 years ago. I'm sitting in the house, and I still have a landline because where I live out in the country, don't always get cell reception, so I still have a landline, and my phone rings, caller ID, check to see what it says, and it says Manford Vincent. That's my father's name.
Ooh. Oh, wow.
And I'm going, and it comes up, my house phone number, and I'm going, what the hell is going on? I mean, it just took me back. It just took my breath away, knocked the wind out of my sails, and I picked it up, and it was like, and I heard, sound like someone on the other end, but they didn't say anything, and then they hung up. And it was on the anniversary of my cousin's daughter's death. So it was just like, oh my God, I gotta call her and tell her that Dad just called. You know, it's freaky, but it's wonderful all at the same time when that happens. So do you have a question for me?
I don't know. What can I ask about?
I don't care. We've been talking about death, so, you know, but you can tell whatever.
Death of a relationship. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Let's see if you know the answer. Okay, so I've been getting up real early in the morning lately, and there's a radio show I listen to, like, why do I get up early?
Yeah.
Because most of my business is on the East Coast.
Okay.
So I'm just conditioned to get up early just to, like, you know, for work.
Yeah.
And on Sundays there's a radio show that I listen to that's broadcasted from the United Kingdom. So I get up I'm up at 5:30 this morning, whatever. And the radio show comes on at 7. And I live across the street from a park. Okay? And we just had an ice storm last night. So, like, I've been living here for 10 years. And it's weird because I'm like, community watch. Like, I watch everything. I notice everything, you know? So I'm looking out, you know, my window. I'm listening to the radio show. I see a car parked sideways. I'm thinking to myself, there's nobody at the park. Because you couldn't walk even if you wanted to in the parking lot because it was just a sheet of ice.
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, what is this goofball? And I'm like, oh my God, that's the same car that the guy that I just broke up with is driving. And I get like the stalkers, okay? I don't know why, but every guy I've ever dated, they're stalkers. I don't know what it is. And so I'm thinking to myself, I'm wondering if it's his car. So I go get my binoculars. I'm like reading the plate, but I can't make out one number. But to me, it was like, oh my God, that looks like his plate number. So I go, screw this. I'm going outside. This is my house. Who's at the park at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday when you can't walk your dog, you can't run, you can't walk, you can't do anything?
Right.
I go outside with my binoculars, and I'm like, ooh, it's one number off. I'm like, oh, I can't really confirm if it's him. I need to go out further. So I go in the house. I kid you not, it wasn't even like 20 seconds later to go back outside and the car was gone. So I'm thinking to myself, do I have another stalker or was that just a coincidence?
Actually, you were seeing a time wash. You were seeing the future. It wasn't happening right then.
What?
You understand what a time you were seeing? You were projecting the future, and so that's what you were seeing. It wasn't.
No, I never heard of that before.
Right, because the first time I was made aware of it, I was out in Red Rock area, and I was like, where'd everybody go? I was walking down this road, and at that time, I was still walking with a cane and stuff and couldn't walk very far, and I'm like, well, where'd everybody go? You know, I didn't walk that far. Well, and I'm just like standing there like, where'd they go? And they come and find me, and they're like, how did you get down here? I'm like, well, I just went for a little stroll. I told you guys, they're like, you're 2 miles from where you left us. I'm like, but they're going 5 minutes ago. We know you didn't walk no 2 miles in 5 minutes. And it was a time wash where time just unfolded on each other, and I walked through it. And this is what happened there. You projected, and you seen the future of him stalking you. Because you keep pulling that stalking energy back in that you need to quit doing that.
He doesn't really, well, I don't really know. The quiet ones are always the weirdest ones. I really just, you know what, the reason why I broke up with him is because I couldn't really figure him out. I'm like, you're either a complete weirdo or there's something wrong with you. Because nobody is that boring of a person, you know? Like, you just couldn't be that boring. Like, I literally felt like he was going, like, we were, like, like, our relationship was all based upon, like, my life. Like, he literally was a workaholic, and it was just, like...
No, there's a lot of people out there like that. A lot of people. That's it. They just, when they date someone, they just become that person. They become that person's life, and because they don't have a life of their own, and they're looking for a life, and they were like, well, we found someone with a good life, so we're just going to hang on to them. A lot of people don't know how to have a life.
Very nice guy. Very nice guy, don't get me wrong. Very nice guy. I've known him for a long time, but it was like, that relationship, I told him, just had to die, because I was basically just, you know, just bored with them. So, you know, I told him, if you don't come to the table with, like, something better, like,
right.
As far as, I'm not saying that we have to go out every night or, you know, you
right.
Cancun.
You have
but,
to,
I mean,
you can't just go, yeah, during the conversations. You have to have a actual thought in your head and not my thought
right.
in your head, you know?
Like, participation here a little bit.
Yes.
Like, does the patient have a pulse? Like, dude, you're not that old. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I still think, like, for me, it's like, when I end it with a guy, it has to end badly. Otherwise, it doesn't end. Like, I usually blast them pretty badly. So, they don't ever want to talk to me again, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, sometimes you just have to go. You know,
I'm not friends with any of my exes, and my son will be 30, and he's friends with all of his exes, and I don't get it, because I'm not friends with any of my exes. If that door hit you in the ass on the way out, there's a reason for it. You know, it's like, because someone said, he's friends with all his exes. Well, that makes sense. You're his mother. I'm like, I ain't friends with mine. I don't want nothing to do with them. Make them go away.
Yeah, but every time I was ignorant to this guy, he would just call me like it was nothing the next day.
That's just
like it never even happened, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, you know,
he's
I'm going to do this one. He just was like, he didn't really care.
He did. He's clueless. He's going to ask you on vacation, though.
You think so?
Yeah. I pulled the cards, and I was picking that up. I was just confirming as I pulled a card. Yeah. He's going to ask you on vacation or a little trip or something.
You know what? I'll go with him.
Weather gets a little warmer. Well, yeah. You paying? You paying? Well, hell yeah, I'm right there. I'm old enough now. Like, you know, if you're paying, I'm going.
Right. That's fine. Okay, that's cool.
You know? But yeah.
I'll go on vacation. Oh, so he's going to come back.
He's going to come back. Because he wants to go someplace and do something fun with somebody, and he doesn't know anybody else that's fun.
He doesn't.
And not meaning anything degrading to you. You know, I'm not trying to be rude to you or anything, but that's just what, he doesn't know anybody else that's fun. And you're fun, and he wants to go have some fun, and just have someone that's going to make him laugh and be happy, and you're it.
Perfect.
So you're going to be stuck with him for coming in and out for quite a while.
Why does he come in and out like that?
Because that's not what you want. Yeah, that's it right there. You let him.
You know what, though? In all fairness, here's the thing, though. That kind of did work for a while because, well, Chris knows this. You don't know this about me yet, but
I like that.
I've had in 5 years, I've had 15 lawsuits.
Oh my God!
I'm laughing about it now, but because I'm on the home stretch of it, you know, where like hopefully I'm gonna get paid finally. But anyway. It kind of worked out for me like that because I did, you know, spend a lot of my time doing all of my legal paperwork.
Right.
And I was honest with him in the beginning, and I told him, look, until all my cases are at least, like, under control, it's going to have to be like that for a while. But I think he dips in and out just because he's very insecure, and maybe he just doesn't even know. He's been single for a long time, too.
There's nothing wrong with being single.
Is it okay if he goes in and out or no?
That's a personal choice.
Yeah.
That's a personal choice right there.
Listen, if you let him, then you can't waste time wondering why he's doing it or being bothered that he's doing it, or because you're the one in control. You're the one that's choosing all of that. And so, you know, if that's the way it's going to be, I make no judgment on that, but then just shut up about it and accept it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the deal with it. And
I mean, well,
and that's,
should it be okay or not okay? I mean, I guess I could date other people too then.
Yeah, it's a personal preference. That's not a question spirit can answer. That's a personal preference, how you want to be treated. Is that okay with him coming in and out? Do you feel disrespected that way? Do you feel loved that way? Do you know, that's questions only you can answer yourself.
Well, it's kind of like, what are we doing here?
Or are you using that as a wall for possibly going and finding something that's more serious and long-lasting for you?
Good point.
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like, I hate to say it like this, but this is how I feel. Because this is how my dad explained it to me when I was a kid. He said, relationships are like buses, okay? A new one will come by every 20 minutes. So it's kind of like, you know.
Yeah. Do you want a relationship? Do you want a serious long-term relationship?
Yes.
No, you don't. You wouldn't be doing this if you did. You wouldn't be drawing the crazies to you and the stalkers to you. You say you want it, but you have to believe that's what you truly want. And in your heart and soul, that's what you want.
And
Not
your
just
actions follow.
your actions. Yep.
No.
I know, but he doesn't seem like he's a player.
Well, listen, here's my analysis of it, okay? It's to say, he's an in and out kind of guy, and that's, I'm not trying to make a pun. Okay? And he's gonna float in and float out, and so you now know he's not the long-term guy, he's not a commitment guy, and you know and so there, you know those things about that. If you're wanting to find a lasting relationship for yourself, I feel that you have to put in your past any other relationships and feelings you have for other people. Because I say the same thing to people that, like, I'm so in love with this guy still and blah, blah, and I'm all like, well, even though if he was rotten to them and it was a terrible thing and he hurt them badly, I'm like, if he came back to you today, would you go back with him? Yes. Well, then you have no business trying to start anything with someone else new, because it's not fair to them. If you're not able to give yourself to the new relationship without having the lingering, because that's not fair. And you wouldn't want to start a brand new relationship with some guy that still had love for some past person, and on the risk that if they ever showed back up and said, hey buddy, let's go, and he would go, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you need to, it's fair for both people that each person comes unfettered and unencumbered, if you will. You know what I mean? And
what if I just told him that?
Told him what? Told who what?
You can't be going in and out like that.
Yeah.
I mean, forewarned is forearmed. I can change the future.
No. Okay, but I always say to people, too, if you're going to establish a boundary, and that's a boundary, right? If you're going to establish a boundary, you have to be prepared to enforce it. Because the minute that you say to a guy like that, you cannot be coming in and out, and then he comes in, and then he goes out. The next time you allow him back in, you've just blown to bits any flexibility around your boundaries. And now you've said again, you're not gonna, no matter what ultimatums or boundaries you set, they're breachable. And so if you're going to set the boundary, you have to do so being prepared to enforce it. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Okay. Hey, I mean, I'm calling on you. I'm getting advice here, so I might as well take you up on it.
Yeah, and it's your decision. It's your choice. I think no less or more of you, whichever way you decide to go. But don't set a boundary and then let the boundary get broken, and because then you'll never ever be in control of the boundary situation again. You know what I mean? With that person, they won't respect it. And so make some choices for yourself. If you really want a long-term lasting relationship with somebody and it's not going to be this guy, then you're going to have to, you're going to have to, like, in your own heart and soul, let go of that and be prepared to fully commit to what does come.
I mean, I think a lot of it does have to do with the whole thing where, like when you get really close with somebody and then you hit the panic button. I'm like, I want it, but then it gets so close and it gets so intense that I'm like, ooh, too quick, too fast, too quick, too fast.
It's like the puppy dog chasing the car. If they catch it, they don't really want to catch it because they don't know what they'll do with it then. You know what I mean? And so, yeah. So
okay, Barbara Long said that to me. Because when I think I started seeing this guy, like maybe like in August.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what she said to me. She goes, okay, well, once you get him, what are you going to do with him? She told me it was going to take about a year to get, she goes, the element of commitment is here, but it's going to take about a year. So I guess if he goes in and out for about a year, maybe I need that time too. I don't know. Like when you said in and out for a while, like how long's a while for you?
No, in and out at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he's already been in and out how many times?
Oh, you mean he's just going to keep going in and out?
Yeah.
No, that's not going to work.
Right. Right. That's the point.
Okay, I just got that now. Okay, the bell just went off.
Ding,
You're
ding,
saying
ding.
he's just going to keep going in and out forever.
Right. Walking in and out, in and out, in and out. And my thought, this is my personal view, is I respect myself more than that to let somebody walk all over me like that. That's just me, though. Everybody else has their limit on how many times they'll let that happen. And every, one time's an accident, second time's a choice. So, and I go by that. So, you do it one time, I'll forgive you. We've had this discussion, had some second time, you're choosing to do this. Nice knowing you, see you around. But that's just how I am. That's how I do things.
Well, my whole thing is I figured, like, the next time, he's going to have to call me now, but the next time he calls me, I'm just going to tell him we need to sit down and have a serious discussion as adults here, because we're either going to build a relationship or I got to go. That was my thought process the next time I talked to him, because I had a feeling he'd be back around. Like, I wasn't sure if that was his car today or not. And then I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm 90% sure that was his car because I haven't talked to him. And it would be like him to be like, oh, I wonder if she's still around, if she's doing okay, who's over at her house. Like, almost like doing like a little checkup on me. So his energy was around, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I feel like he's going to come back, but I feel like I need to tell him we have to sit down and have a serious adult conversation and say, what are your intentions? It's almost like, like when you were younger and you would bring someone home to your parents would be like, what's your intention? Kind of like that.
Yeah.
But, just sit them down and say, well, what are we doing here? Because I'm not going to casually date you.
That's right. And that I think that's the way to go. I really feel like in relationships you owe it to yourself and the other person to be direct and honest and not play games.
Yes.
I mean, I've known him 20 years. If anyone was the one playing games, it was probably more me. I'm going to just put it out there.
And that's my point, right? You don't want to be playing games. Like, don't do that to yourself or the other person. Seriously. And I think that you owe that to yourself, because then it's sabotage in a way,
I know.
I wonder why, well, it's because, and so you gotta have enough respect for yourself and the other person to be honest in your relationship dealings.
I haven't had a serious relationship in years because I've been so bogged down with everything else that honestly, it was hard for me to even adapt to what it was that I did have going on,
Right.
So I'm not saying that he was to blame as much as I was because, I can get goofy. I go sideways on people sometimes, and, most people understand and they come back no big deal, but, I mean, I definitely do not want to throw the fish back into the water if I can keep it. If I can keep it, I'll keep it going. But, hey, I got a vacation coming up, so I feel good about that. I'm so glad I called.
Well, there you go. So you got some thinking to do and some decisions to make for your own self,
Yeah. Thank you for taking my call, and thank you for the advice.
No, you're more than welcome, and you're welcome here anytime.
And thank you again for playing. When did you do that tape about Linda? When did you do that with Linda Crystal?
Last night.
Last night?
Yeah.
Now, her daughter's having a girl, right?
Oh, really? Hey.
Or no,
So now
I'm sorry. Wait, is it her daughter or her granddaughter? Her granddaughter's having a girl.
Well, so you're all thinking, oh, it's going to be Linda reincarnated and all that, right? Is that what you're all thinking?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Sometimes I think people do that to make themselves feel better or whatever. Just like with pets, like, oh, yeah. That pet is your, nah, he doesn't necessarily, like, if I get to be the decider, of what I'm doing in my next life, which I do feel is true, then I don't want to hang around with the same people. I want to go and find out what it's like to be a Chinese guy or, or whatever. You know what I mean? I want to find out, I want new experiences, not same old. And, so I think sometimes that does happen. But I think all too many times people like to say that, and it makes them feel better for the loss or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, do you know anything about what happened? I mean, I know I listened to her last show. I wrote to her for Thanksgiving.
It was, she had the cancer.
I mean, I know
again.
she had cancer, but when was the last time you had contact with her?
I would like to say maybe a few weeks before or something like that, before she crossed over.
Okay, so it's like same. It's like, it was just like, because all of a sudden she wasn't, like her last show, she still sounded good. You know?
Yeah, she
it's
was
just
on
kind
and off though, like she was on and off, like she was missing shows and not doing well, and Linda, she's made of that tough stuff, and so she's gonna put on the good face. You know what I mean? And that's going to be the way that's going to go. So you're not going to get the, plus she was very much one of these, like, as long as I say I'm fine, I'm going to be fine, like that whole manifesting thing, you know what I mean? And my whole attitude on that is it's great if you want to have a positive attitude about it. That's great. That's not going to hurt at all. Because I do believe that people can kill themselves, with their own mind as well. But if it's your time to go, I firmly believe it's your time to go. And there isn't a thought, a word, a deed, or anything you can say or do that's going to change that,
Yeah.
And if you're meant to keep going, then there will be some intervention that will keep you going. That's just my belief.
Same here.
I'm right.
So like I know I've been out of the loop for a couple of months, but have has anybody picked up on her? Have you heard anything from anybody?
Well, I mean, I haven't. Last night was my first effort to do EVPs with her, and I'll do that again in the future because I know she was into the paranormal and that, and so if anybody, her and my friend Kathy would be the two best options for me to get, And as far as mediums, I try to avoid asking because sometimes, like, it's when people know that you knew, like, all of a sudden it's like every time you talk, they're all like, oh, your friend Kathy's here, or this or that. Like, I try to avoid, like, I've had a couple of my own experiences with Kathy. And I haven't, things have been a little bit nutty since Linda has died. So I haven't really had, any time to do too much, in terms of, I saw my friend in my crystal ball of all things. And I didn't even know it at the time, but I saw a woman with white hair and I saw a dog with a very specific pose and brown hair, very specific pose, floppy ears, that whole thing. And then I was going through my friend Kathy's Facebook page to look for something for her show. And there was the dog. And then as soon as I saw the dog, I'm like, that's the dog. I'm like, oh, white-haired woman. What the hell is wrong with me? That was Kathy in my crystal ball. You know what I mean? Like, and when I saw it, like, I described it to everybody. And you know what I'm saying? Like right the next day, and it was probably a couple of weeks or something before I ever saw an actual picture of that dog in her Facebook page. And I didn't even know she had the dog. And so that's how come I didn't connect the dog to the white-haired woman at that time. So what I'm saying is I haven't had a chance yet to take some quiet time and pick up the crystal ball and see if I could, conjure up Linda Crystal or anybody else, and so we'll see what happens with it.
I didn't try to contact her until New Year's Day. And then I just started talking to her, and that's when I got the text back. And now I just talk to her all the time. I just randomly say things to her, like, oh, I miss you, and, Wednesday would be your show at 5:30, because I would, write on her Facebook page, Wednesday's Linda Crystal's day, because I just loved her show, and, I mean, I missed her incredibly, and I still have all of her shows downloaded, because she was the best astrologer ever. So, I mean, I just was so freaked out when I heard that tonight. I couldn't believe it. And, I did hear what you were saying.
In there, and I wasn't able to point it out at the time, but, in there I did hear Crystal. If you go back to last night's show, my archive of last night's show, and listen to it. We redid it, and we went over certain sections repeatedly, and so you'll get a better chance to, if the sound is good, you'll get a better chance to pick up on all the things that I thought. I'm sure I heard Crystal, others heard Linda. It definitely was interesting when I asked what's it like to cross over. It's amazing. It's amazing. And then hearing my name at the very end and a couple of other things along the way was very, 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 very interesting to me. And I still haven't had time to sit and take it and take certain things and slow it down. There's things I can do with a little bit of the software to make it easier for myself to isolate certain things, But it's a heavy labor game to start doing EVPs, and so what we did was just a quick blow through of it a few times last night, and then once tonight. But I think it was compelling.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think it was compelling that there was possibly some connection there. So I'll have to see.
I've only had a little bit of experience with that, and the lady who I used to do that with was a psychic out of, Chicago. And the way that she taught me how to do it, and it worked, believe it or not, was when she would do her recordings on a regular old school tape recorder, a cassette, okay? You'd go back, like right now, we could record our conversation on an old school tape recorder, okay? You would go back, listen to the tape, and you could hear the voices. You could hear Linda speaking to you.
Yeah.
Not so clear, no pun intended, but better than the EVP or whatever they call that, because we did that too over at her house. And I have tape recordings of people speaking on tape, and it came through much better. So I don't know if you have one. I still have an old school tape recorder. You could try it like that even when you're doing your EVP, just tape record it with a regular cassette and then play it back and see if you pick up anything. Because for some reason, the magnetic in the tape, it just picks it up so much better. I don't know, just a suggestion. Maybe I should try to talk to you.
Yeah, maybe you should. But I mean, if you're a medium, like I always say to people who are mediums, why would you waste your time? If you're a medium, just connect. You know what I mean? Just connect. And I have that ability myself, and so I have to use electronic means. But for me, I don't do it to convince anybody of anything. I don't have to do it to convince myself of anything. It is just what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I always tell people, instead of going to the phone, go to the throne. Because for me, if I want to get an answer, I kid you not, all I have to do is go to the bathroom. Just be in the bathroom. And it comes through instant. It works for you too?
No, I said whatever works for you. Whatever works for you, sister.
I don't know. I'm telling you, it comes through instantly. Like, I don't know how to really describe it, but it's like, because they say, like, the spirits don't go into the bathroom.
Well,
I don't know if that's true or not.
See, the thing is like that people have that they're sitting there watching you or something. Like, we're energetically connecting. You know what I mean? In my opinion. And so, like, they can be in the bathroom with you. Don't mean that they're watching you sit on the toilet. The turlet.
You know what, though? That is something that Linda Crystal would say. She would say, amazing. She would say that. And she had cancer before. Did you know that?
Yeah.
This wasn't like her first bout of cancer. This was her second.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was in remission, and then when it came back, she told me that the nurse told her that she had, like, stage 4 and that she wasn't going to make it. And exactly your words is what she said. She goes, how could somebody tell somebody else that you're not going to make it? And you know what? Nobody's going to tell me that. And she probably went, about 18 months? I think the second time.
Well, I don't think the second time.
2 years?
No. In my mind, it was under a year that she got hit the second time with it. She was gone.
Was it under a year? I'd have to go back.
Yeah.
Because, like, I have tape recordings of me and her just talking on the phone.
Yeah. Why do
Remember
you
she liked margaritas? What?
Why do you record your phone calls?
Because I would buy readings from her.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And so then I would record it, and then it would end up, we would be on the phone for like 2 hours, you know, just talking about anything. But that mostly her and I would talk over email or messenger. I only talked to her on the phone maybe like 4 times. Most of our conversations were, and she used to tell me, don't ever settle unless the guy gives you everything. She would say that. She would, like, describe him perfectly, you know. It was just funny because, you know, it was me always calling the show, when am I going to find my guy? And then here I find this guy, I really like him, and then I don't even know what to do with him now I got him. So I got to figure that out. But it was good to talk to you, and I'm so glad I got my reading, too. This lady's a very nice lady.
Yeah. No, I'm glad that you called, and nice to hear back from you. I always wonder with the people that disappear for, you know, you're kind of coming in and out. You're kind of coming in and out of my life here at curious times, you know.
You know what? I will send you a message on Facebook, but I'm on there under a different name. You'll recognize my face, but I can't be under my name because I can't afford any more lawsuits.
Oh my God, you are a bundle of trouble. You. Okay, I'm going to park you, and thank you for calling. Hopefully you'll come back again soon, and it's been great to hear from you. And go back and listen to that. Go back and listen to that show again if you want to hear more of that. And so okay, so we're kind of done, I guess, then, Pamela. So why don't we let you tell people how to get in touch with you? And then we can wrap it up.
Find me on Facebook. Just you can Google me for Facebook, Pamela Vincent, Pamala.
ALA.
And find me on there. Friend me. Follow me. I try to always stay positive. But you know, if you're easily offended, don't follow me because you never know what I'm gonna have up there. It goes from butterflies and kittens to guns and coffee, so you never know.
Listen, if they were easily offended, they wouldn't be regular listeners of my show. So with that said, everybody, thank you very much. Thank you, Pamela. I appreciate it, and we'll see you in a month's time. And everybody else.
Wait a minute, Chris. I will not be here next month. I cannot do that. I just was asked yesterday to work a cruise in the Bahamas next month.
Oh, nice.
So I will not be here next month for your show. I'm sorry about that. But
no, don't be sorry. Let me find you. What's tonight? It's Sundays. I'm looking at the wrong.
Sunday.
Okay, that's
Third Sunday. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're off. I gave you the night. There you go.
I'm not right.
All right. Have fun with that, and we'll see you when you're back. And
All right.
we're going